Hi everybody, Carl here from Apt. Today we're going to be taking a look at Sony's two flagship TVs side by side. For anyone who hasn't followed technology at all for the last several months, Sony's gotten back into the OLED game with their A1E line, and we've had a lot of requests to see how this set compares to the Z9D, their previous and still current kind of co-flagship set. The Z9D uses LED technology, and like I mentioned before, the A1E uses OLED. Both are great technologies that produce fantastic pictures. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be talking about the 65-inch version since that's the only size they share in common, and we'll be addressing the similarities and noticeable differences. But remember, if you have any questions or there's something we missed that you want to know, make sure you let us know in the comments section and we'll do our best to get you the answer. Now moving on, let's take a look at the TVs. First thing is design. Mounted on the wall, these are going to both be, they're kind of hard to tell apart. They both have really thin bezels. There's nothing really to distract you from the picture at all on the screen. Now the depth of the A1E is 3.5 inches and the Z9D comes in at 3.125 inches, so it's slightly shallower overall, but the actual screen depth on the A1E is going to be noticeably thinner. Sitting on their stands, there's going to be a bigger difference. The Z9D sits on a pedestal, which has some cool cable management built in, and it looks really nice, and the A1E has a kickstand on the back that folds out to hold the TV upright, and you can't even see it from the front. Now with that kickstand design, the TV is going to tilt back slightly as opposed to the Z9D over here, which stands completely upright. And I know what you're thinking because I've read comments on the other A1E video that we did, and I promise the tilt back is almost not even worth talking about. It doesn't make any noticeable difference in the picture, but it's a difference between the two sets, so I wanted to mention it. Now using the pedestals also changes the depths of the TVs, with the Z9D coming in at 10 5/8 and the A1E at 13 3/8. So moving on, we're going to lump the inputs into the design category here since they're integrated into the TVs in slightly different fashions. They both have 4 HDMI inputs that are HDCP 2.2 compliant, as well as 3 USB inputs, an Ethernet, and an RS-232 input. On the A1E, those inputs are going to be built into the kickstand. On the Z9D, they're on the back of the TV itself. In addition to those inputs, you also get an optical audio output, which is important because both of these TVs deserve to be hooked up to a full surround sound system. But for those that don't want to or can't, there's only one of these that is still going to be worth listening to, and that is the A1E. It uses Sony's acoustic glass technology. It has these actuators that are built into the back of the screen, and they use the glass panel to produce the sound. It's a really cool design, and it sounds pretty decent, and you also get a 4-inch sub built into the kickstand on the back to help with bass. The Z9D has just a couple of small speakers built in, which is pretty common on most of the new TVs that we see. They don't sound all that great. So now let's talk about the fun stuff, the pictures. And here's where things can get a little heated, so let's all play nice because everyone's entitled to their own opinion on which they like better. And honestly, I don't think either side is wrong. I will start by saying these sets both have remarkable pictures. I strongly suggest, though, seeing them in person before making your final decision on which you like better, and if you're in the Chicagoland area, you can actually do that right here at our store. So, both of them have Sony's 4K XReality Pro engine with dual database processing. Both have live color technology, precision color mapping, super bit mapping 4K HDR, triluminous display, dynamic contrast enhancer, and object-based HDR remastering. So what makes them different, you might be wondering? Well, aside from the fact that one's an LED and one's an OLED, the Z9D has Sony's Extended Dynamic Range Pro feature, which helps a lot when you're dealing with really bright HDR content. That's the big benefit of the Z9D over the A1E. Is that going to help all the time? No. Like I said, it's really only noticeable with bright stuff. When you're watching low light scenes, the A1E is going to be the more capable of the two because OLED naturally handles blacks better than an LED. For the purpose of this video, we have both screens set to their Cinema Pro mode. You can see kind of as you move through the preset calibrations, the Z9D is going to have a brighter picture within each specific mode. Now, you have the full ability to change the calibrations on both of these sets if you want, but the brightness difference is noticeable when they're side by side. With the limitations on brightness on the OLED, at a certain point, the A1E just can't keep up. The only other thing that the Z9D really has over the A1E is that it's 3D capable, but content isn't always easy to find for that feature, so I don't know that I consider it a big advantage. Everything else about these sets is almost exactly the same. They both have the same fairly fast Android operating system, same remote with extremely competent voice recognition, similar design when hung on a wall, and as of the date we filmed this video, the same price tag. So why would you pick one over the other? Well, the Z9D is going to perform better in bright rooms, and HDR content can look better, especially in the brighter scenes, plus it has 3D. The A1E is better suited to a darker room and for those that aren't overly concerned about maximum performance on HDR content. The A1E is also going to give you a wider viewing angle, and to me, handled motion better. I thought the fast motion looked more natural on the A1E than it did on the Z9D. So to wrap things up, these are both great sets that have a lot of similarities, but their differences are really what's going to help determine which is better for your home theater setup. So which one would you pick, A1E or the Z9D? Make sure to let us know in the comments section. As always, we appreciate you guys checking out our videos. If you like this, make sure to hit the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you can get updates on all the great products that we carry here at Apt.